Okay, we're on.
Well, welcome to the Utah Senate Legislative Update. We're on, let's see, what was it, day 29 today? And focusing on Senate bills, addressing a lot of those. Again, these are some of the bills that have had a lot of vetting during the interim. And so sometimes we don't see a lot of debate on those, but there will occasionally arise a bill that either that we're unaware of some of the amendments or a substitute, and so there tends to be a little more debate. Open to questions from the public and from the press that's here today. Any questions?
Senator Hilliard, you voted no on that MITA bill because you weren't sure exactly what happened. Neither was I. Did you learn what happened? Because I'm kind of confused on what can they tax the NSA or can't they tax the NSA
Well, I think
facility?
Senator Stevenson explained to me after that it apparently grants authority, but he still didn't think they had the legal authority to do it. So even though we authorize it by statute, the federal law and the federal rules may override what we do.
So under the bill that passed today, they are granted the authority to tax it if they wanted to, but they probably won't and can't because of federal laws. Is that correct?
That'll be up to the city to decide if they want to get into the fight.
And it's not the city, it's the MITA authority.
Yeah, the MITA authority, yeah.
But MITA authority was requesting the bill with the waiver in it, or to repeal the bill, I think.
Senator Adams?
Last year, the MITA was given the authority. They were asking for the repeal because I think they had the same conclusion that you just talked about, as they questioned whether they actually had the ability to tax.
So they had asked for the repeal, and
Yes.
this doesn't repeal it. If they still have the authority to do it, but they don't have to exercise it, and it's unlikely if they were looking for a repeal that they would.
Yes. So I don't think you'll see any effort to try to tax them. It's maybe a legal battle that somebody'd have to decide whether they take on.
Any other questions?
You said you had a full caucus agenda. Can you tell us what you were going to talk about today?
Full caucus agenda with one item, Medicaid. We've got a number of different perspectives coming in today, and still trying to work our way through that and decide where we're at.
Is there any sense at all where they're leaning, or I know you haven't really discussed it, but
At this point, there isn't. We're hoping that this caucus today, this hour and a half period of time, we get to maybe get close to that. But at this point, no.
Senator Adams?
I think there were 3 options out of the task force. One is do nothing. The other was, I think, a hybrid of the kind of what they termed as a Utah solution. And then the other was a full expansion. And I think there's been another one that came through a House committee yesterday. Those are 4 options, from do nothing to full expansion, and those are probably options.
And then it's the other option is the charity care option.
Yeah, charity care. So we'll discuss them.
Someone described it to me like being on an airplane with a parachute, not knowing whether it's really going to open or not. And now you jump out into a cloud with no idea what's in that cloud, what's on the ground when you get down there. That's the concern that I think a lot of us have.
what does the input from the governor, what he has said recently, does that weigh on any of your decisions?
At this point, I think our caucus is still trying to come together and coalesce, and if we can do that, then we can have a better conversation with the governor and maybe try to tie that together with the House and the governor's positions wherever we all may be. I think that our caucus really needs to come together before we can speculate on that.
And I take it you're not anticipating a caucus position this afternoon?
It could happen, but we've been talking about this for a long time, and so I haven't gotten to the point where I really know where we're finally going to get to a conclusion on this. It could happen today, it may be a week from now, but we're getting close to the end of the session, and we'd like to get there sometime before then. But
Be great if it happened today.
yeah, it'd be
Any
great.
help
if
you
we
guys
did.
can give us?
Yeah.
In other words, don't hold your breath.
I'll add this other perspective to it. We will get new revenue figures the afternoon of this Thursday, and then we have basically a week to put our budget together. Medicaid, as Representative Brown, as Senator Stevenson, and Representative Wilson have met together, we really haven't set aside any money for any of these options because we're just still trying to get some of the basic requests covered. So it's not going to be an easy thing to find funding for any of those things. So it's going to be a challenge. So the quicker they get the decision, the easier it will be for us to do before the budget becomes set in concrete.
You're right.
Senator Jones, do you have any comments?
I think our position is well known, but we have fewer to satisfy.
Very good.
We
have a
envy
text
that.
question.
Envy that in many ways. Okay, text question?
It's for you.
Oh, okay.
It says, would you support a school report card with a lot of information on one page, including some information included on school grading calculation, but also UCAS, demographics, attendance, and longitudinal information, for example, graduation rates over the past 3 years?
Much of that information could be put on the web today. That would be up to the state school board to have that put out there, and I support as much information as possible. And but what we do mandate by statute is that there's a single grade there. But if they want to grade anything else, we're not stopping them from putting that on the web. And in fact, I think we'd encourage it. Senator Adams?
Yeah, we specifically put it in statute. The state school board could do much of that. I'm a real advocate. I'd like to see, in addition to the single grade, at least, at the very minimum, a grade for growth and performance, 2 separate grades. Some schools are growing very, seeing great gains in learning, and people ought to see that. Other schools are performing very, very well, but there's not as much room for growth, and we ought to note that too. So I'd like to see multiple grades, and I would hope the school board would do something about that.
Yeah, great question. Thanks to the person who texted that in. Any other questions? Okay. We'll get on to our Medicaid discussion. Thank you.